And welcome back. It is the 14th of August, higher 5 a day, and we're just going to go straight to the first question. Now, the first question is an estimate. I don't think you get these questions in exams, but let's try and do them anyway. What I would note is, he says, thinking aloud, is 3 cubed is 27, and 4 cubed is equal to 64. And 50, well, it's not kind of in the middle, but it's a bit more towards the 4 than it is the 3. So, I'm going to say 3.6. I don't know. Now, just for fun, I'm going to put my calculator. The cube root of 50 is 3.68. Yeah, so 3.7, probably a better answer, but whatever, that's okay. Happy with that. Which one of these equations has a rational solution? Now, rational means I can write it as a over b, where a and b are both integers. Probably quickest way of doing this is just to work it out, isn't it? So this one here means that x is equal to, well, 30 times 4 is 120, and 120 divided by 3 is 40, so x is equal to the square root of 40, which is not rational. X cubed is equal to 10, which means that x cubed is equal to, well, 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 5 times 5 times 25 is 125, and that does indeed have a correct answer of 5, because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125, so therefore that is rational. Let's just check the other one isn't. Equation 3. So 3 times 6 is 18, 18 divided by 2 is 9, which means that x to the power of 4 is 9, which means that x is the square root of 3. That's not rational, so therefore the answer to the question is equation 2. Next question. The probability that Ben goes running on a Sunday is 0.7. The probability that Thomas goes running on a Sunday is 0.7. Calculate the probability that both Ben and Thomas do not go for a run on Sunday. So not Ben is 0.2. and not Thomas is 0.3. Multiply these numbers together and I get 0.06, otherwise known as 6%, and that's my answer. Next question. Roscoe invests £800 in a savings account that pays compound interest of this here. Work out how many years it will take for Roscoe to have at least £1,000 in the account. Okay, I'm going to set this up as a big equation. It's got 800 times the multiplier for the first year, which is 1.02. times the multiplier for the second year, which is 1.01, times the multiplier for the third year onwards, which is 1.005 to the power of m, and I need that to equal 1,000. Now we can start fixing this, can't we? So I can say 1.005 to the power of m is equal to 1,000 over 800 times 1.02 times 1.01, which is approximate. Now I'm doing this to be reasonably accurate, so I'm going to work it out my calculator. Calculator tells me that's 1.213357. So 1.213357. Now for the bad news. There's no other way of doing this question. I just need to try different numbers. So basically I'm just going to try lots of different numbers here in order to make this number with the m greater than this number here. And I'm going to come back and tell you what number I get. So off screen, bit of playing. Okay, so this is what I've got to. So if I do m is 38, actually let's do it as a little table over here. So if I do m is 38, that gives me 1.2088 something. If I do m is 39, I've got 1.214, so 39, 1.214. 1.215 actually technically, and m is 40, I get 1.2207. So m is 40, it's 1.2208. Now, what's interesting or what's relevant is this number here is the first number that's greater than this number here. So the number I care about is when m is 39. But you'll remember I've got year 1, year 2, then another 39 years on top. So actually the answer to this question is 41 years. That's, again, quite a difficult question. It's quite easy to mess that question up if you don't sort of go back and think about what you've got. Well, you always go back and read the question again. Either way, answer that question, 41 years. Next question. Y is an inverse proportional to the square of x. Find a and b. I like this question. Okay, what's the relationship? So y is equal to k over the square of x. So I'm going to use the first two numbers in order to work out what the k is. So I know from the question that 20 is equal to k over 2 squared, which is 4, which means that k is equal to 4 times 20, which is 80, which means I have an equation of y is equal to 80 over x squared. Let's now look at these two numbers here. So using those numbers and putting those numbers in, y is equal to 80 over 4 squared, which is 16, which is 5, which means, and just get rid of this because it's a bit messy, which means my a is equal to 5. Then I can do it the other way around. So now, using my b, so in other words, I'm trying to find x, I know that 5,000 is equal to 80 over x squared, which means that x squared is equal to 2 over 125, which means that x, well, it's not going to be a nice round number, is it? But x is approximately the square root of that, which is 0.126. Yeah, 126. Right, so therefore my b is 0.126. We've ended with a pretty difficult question there. Well done if you got all those. As ever, any comments down below. If you're not sure about it, do leave it as a question, because I do fly through some of these quite quickly. Do like and subscribe. These videos are going to come every day. Easiest way of making sure you see them. Aims to keep them under 5 minutes, which largely I try and do, but sometimes doesn't work. Either way, I will see you tomorrow. Like, subscribe. Thanks all.